Jace and Gwen already off, and they are going to separate the Nefiri. Wondering if we're going to be getting another Talia band coming on through from Top Esports. I think a reasonable first pick. It's going to be the Rumble, so we are expecting that Talia to get snapped up here by Scout.
And remember, no Pantheon to have that point-and-click CC to match alongside the Unraveled Earth in the jungle, as it was picked by Kanavi in that first game. And maybe that means that priorities go other directions for JD Gaming on this first pick. The Yorick is still available, and Bessa is still on the table as well. But it looks like mid lane could be the focus here. It's not going to be Talia, it's going to be the Azir.
If this is JDG trying to play a long gambit of saying, like, hey, let's take away some of Creme's champions, he has put in a fair amount of Azir games. I know someone was doing a solo queue report, and Creme had actually been spamming a hell of a lot of Azir games. It's kind of a champion that he has struggled with in the past. So we're kind of starting to see some of those hovers come on through for Top Esports. Getting the Renekton for themselves, going to be some skirmishing potential here for Top, and giving, I think, 369 something that is a little bit more fun than the Scion from Game 1.
I don't know what you're talking about. Sion's a great champion, and it's going to be the Nidalee to pair alongside it. I was thinking maybe we could have seen a full dive, like full frontline. Instead, it's going to be the Nidalee that comes into play here for Kanavi, and we'll see what JDG want to respond with.
Oh, you're getting hit with the Mordekaiser ult on your camera there.
I think I'm back.
Impressive.
I think I'm back.
Okay, you're good, you're good. We're getting Kalista Renata, a very powerful bottom lane, so looks like JDG, they want to try to fight, want to put the hands of the early game in, or available for Peyz and Missing, and that revive is going to be particularly potent here. Top Esports, I think with a bit of a tricky draft here. There's not a lot of setup for the Nidalee, and while the setup from Yone is going to be nice, one of Creme's best champions historically, not a ton of crowd control, so I think maybe a pinch of supports coming on through for JDG. I think a Leona's on the table, Alistar, Rel, these are champions that I would be considering taking away from Crisp.
Yeah, it's full bot lane focus here. JackeyLove, Lucian getting banned away. We've seen Kalista Renata into the Lucian Nami, Lucian Milio, things like that, being the answer into something like what Peyz and Missing have to offer already, so not surprised to see that one taken away. And now we'll see if Top Esports still want to go that poke, that double range oriented direction in their bot lane, or maybe they do want to go for something like the Alistar, like the Leona that you were mentioning for Crisp. He had such a great game on the Nautilus, a champion with that primary engage, and would be an important part of the Top Esports composition. If they lock in two ranged champions, it's going to be very hard to find initiation for this team.
Yeah. So Top Esports probably looking for 80 carry on 4, give something available for Crisp. Although, honestly, support blind here is fine. They're going to go for the Ezreal, so looking like it's going to be an Ezreal Karma versus Kalista Renata matchup here. JDG need to be very careful about picking more melees, as Karma definitely would feel a lot better into that kind of matchup. For Sun, though, looking at ADs, I mean, you have access to maybe the... like, what? You could have Sejuani if you really want to. I'm not really all that fond of it here. Maokai is something that actually I think would get a lot of value here. They're going to give Sun a little bit more time to figure out what jungle champion he wants.
Because, remember, Kanavi really had his way with him in that first game.
Oh, yeah.
Never really got going on the Xin Zhao. Maybe against the Nidalee, something that can match that clear speed, can be a little bit aggressive, can go in onto dive. Something like the Wukong might make sense as well. Still waiting out what this JDG composition is finalized with. This would be that pocket pick versus pocket pick matchup in the jungle. And it looks like we're going to get it. Wow, Kindred here for Shun. Now, not a ton of resources to go around, all these big carries for JDG, but if they can get it to work, they have got a really nice composition.
Yeah, but I'm so worried about this. Like, you have a short-range bottom lane that really wants to skirmish. Maybe we get some BLG from 2023, 2024, where Shun is a psychopath and is level 3 ganking this bottom lane. But, I mean, it's an arms race between these two. You have Poke coming out from Nidalee, Ezreal, Karma. Kindred doesn't really have any real front line. She's going to have to basically stand next to Scout or Ala. I have big questions here for this JDG draft. I don't think this is it for them, and feels like their composition is all over this place, really relying on Scout to be a late-game carry for the team, whereas I think that Top Esports, you kind of have your pick of the litter. You can always aggress on your opponents. You have at least 1-2 pushing lanes in the map right now, so Kanavi has really whatever choice he wants as to being able to run over this map.
it does feel imperative for both teams to get ahead in the early game, right? When you have Shun on the Kindred, you have Kanavi on this Nidalee specifically. Getting off those early leads is going to be very, very important. And for Top Esports, a chance to close out this series 2-0 to kind of fight back against the narratives that they are Game 3 merchants, that they always end up dropping random games throughout the season. Getting a win over a solid team like JDG here, as they continue to try to extend their advantage in Group Ascend at that top seed. Running away with it at this point, but finishing off a 2-0 would definitely help them out here.
I'm taking a look. Top Esports, they have played 13 series. We've got 1, 2, 3. They've played 3 series that they have won that have only been 2 games. 4 if you consider their loss against AL a couple of days ago. So we're heading into game number 2 here between JDG and Top Esports.
Wow. Dare I say, Top Esports might be more represented in the JDG arena. Am I crazy?
That might be the case. I feel like that there's that one JDG fan that we heard. She was going crazy.
They're going wild.
she was going to 11 for her team. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, maybe the fans might actually prove to be, if you have more fans in the audience, maybe just end up winning. We'll see.
That is
again
something.
Home arena for JDG.
I mean, in traditional sports, that's definitely a thing, right? Like having the home field advantage is massive, and just having the fans on your side. And we've seen teams like WE even in Xi'an, like that when they're in their home arena, they find themselves a lot of success. That's where they went on that big run that they had towards the middle of the season. JD's got to tap into that right now here, Alk, though, as they've got a tough to execute draft. And honestly, I would say both teams do.
Yeah. It's definitely more skill-oriented, especially when we have the Kanavi with this Nidalee. We were saying the same thing for Shun, that he doesn't have a ton of traditional front line, and same can be said for Kanavi. Feels like this is a game that can very easily snowball in one way or the other. And especially for this bottom lane 2v2, as Real Karma, it is all about can you get into the lane first. And right now it is JackeyLove and Crisp getting first push in the lane, and probably going to be hitting level 2 a little bit sooner than their counterparts.
That double range bot lane matchup. I mean, we're going to see more and more of this, I'd say, as we go throughout the rest of the season. Just given that the lanes can be extended a little bit longer now that the Void Grubs spawn at 8 minutes instead of 6. I mean, this is something that we've continually harped on. But in terms of our expectations in the meta, I mean, going into the Demacia Cup, going into the start of Split 1, there was no chance we were seeing a Karma versus Renata support matchup.
Oh, yeah. Also, Ezreal just wasn't that popular, I think, from Demacia Cup, and even the very, very beginnings of Split 1. Engage supports were just too OP. So glad to see that we're seeing a little bit more diversity as well. Also, Kalista has dropped off a ton in terms of prio, so I'm glad to see this champion gone. I think it's very fake a lot of the time, so we'll end up seeing what ends up happening. Both junglers pathing down towards the bottom side. Twitch chat seems to definitely believe that King Kanavi's Nidalee is going to be able to take over Shun's Kindred. And right now, Kanavi is ahead in the jungle clears, almost already done with his blue buff, while Shun is trying to balance going and finishing his red buff a little bit after this one.
Curious to see Shun not immediately path towards the Renekton. I feel like that's normally something that we see Kindreds do, or sorry, I meant Kanavi going towards the Renekton. I feel like that's something we see Nidalees do in the 2v2. That's why you pick this champion, but it turns out if you just clear a little bit faster here than Shun, you're able to pick up this early Scuttle Crab, most likely, and the coin did flip in favor of Kanavi potentially, as he should be able to secure this one, as Shun instead is going to try to target Creme in the mid lane.
Hold this, Creme.
Forces the flash. That E-proc does a lot of damage, and Creme's forced about 100 HP, so not fatal, but a crucial summoner spell is down, as now Kanavi's going to look for a response in the bottom lane.
Okay, missing in Peyz. Can you survive? That's one spear missing. Wave doesn't crash. Kanavi takes a turret shot. I think this is risky. I think this is really hard for them to pull off. Yeah, turret is starting to really heat up. They are poking them out.
They're going slowly but surely. Finally missing. Does pop the heal. But the spears are starting to rain in here for Peyz. Oh, the mantra Q from downtown. It's pure from Crisp, and that's first blood to Top Esports. They could look for more onto Peyz. The redive is inevitable. The tether lands onto the Kalista. In goes Kanavi. The tower is heating up. Will this be Peyz outplaying? He's able to find the first kill, but will be shut down by the Mystic Shot of Jackie.
Okay, perfectly fine, though. I think that being able to trade 2 for 1, great for top esports. A lot of summoner spells now invested, though. That's everything except for Missing's flash gone. And a pretty big wave starting to stack. Creme in a world of hurt on this Yone. JDG being able to at least punish a little bit through Scout's Azir.
And of course, a lot of that was aided by Shun coming up early, as Creme with the Soul Unbound had to jump out maybe a little bit earlier than he did. He does ding level 5. That gets him a decent amount of HP, but is taking a lot of poke from this Azir, which means that Missing and Shun can go for an invade onto the enemy Raptor camp, and they'll be able to pick this up very, very easily.
Love the cheeky amount of movements coming in. Crisp as well. Is a big wave that JDG are giving over, though. You see that right now, JackeyLove having to pick up all of this. And this means that Missing, Peyz, they're not getting access to this. They actually brought Peyz over to that play. He'll catch 3 of these top lane minions. That'll probably be a teleport invested by Allah. But JackeyLove is getting paid here in this game number 2.
And these 2 bot laners, you know, kind of have similar upbringing, similar stories, being placed onto top teams at very young ages. Peyz not getting to the same level of international success as JackeyLove early on in his career, but still has the opportunity to do it. And then now moving over to another top team in the LPL. It was TES here for JackeyLove. It's now JDG for Peyz. And we can see if Peyz can unlock that same level of legacy that JackeyLove has had. As, you know, now this AD carry for top esports is pretty deep in his career, but is still yet to reach and come back to that same pinnacle that he reached when he was so young on Invictus Gaming.
I mean, look, JackeyLove may have won Worlds, and, you know, Worlds is nothing like an MSI title, but Peyz is, you know, Peyz is an international champion. He was able to actually pick up a trophy, so at least saving some of a similar level of success internationally speaking. But Shun now going to get spotted on this ward. Big focus for us. 0 stacks so far
Scout.
On this. Oh my god, Creme!
What a buffer coming out from Creme on that Yone. And that will leave him alive. It was surely an inevitable kill without that flash on Creme, but he was able to escape somehow, some way.
I think a large portion of this game now split in half. Top Esports playing a little bit of a vertical jungle here alongside JDG, where Top Esports take control of the bottom side, making sure that JackeyLove and Crisp can continue to farm, and Kanavi, Shun and JDG looking for action along the top side of the map. They've decided, hey, this lane matchup is not tenable anymore. We're just going to slide it on over. We're going to have Peyz and Missing fight against Renekton. 369 does have access to that Dominus, so should be an easy job for them to look. We have Grub spawning in 45, and we have an early reset coming in from Peyz and Missing.
I wonder if they're going to path back towards the top lane, or maybe just try to match JackeyLove and Crisp once again. Maybe they're anticipating a swap back up, and they're going to sack the Grubs, but no, it looks like Peyz and Missing getting a bit of a reset and just really wanting to play around these Grubs. Again, the early game, very important for both of these teams, Dalk, and right now it's Top Esports winning out on this. They're up 1,500 gold.
Yeah, JackeyLove and Chris are now going to reset. We also see that there is a mark here for Kindred. She was able to grab at least 1, but that Raptor Pit, I think, very important. Scout doesn't have teleport. He's going to get forced out of mid. Creme will have priorities. There'll be a wave missed here. I assume that Shun is just going to swing on by this mid lane, but should very easily turn into Top Esports being able to get at least early vision down and set up around this first Grub song.
Kanavi's going to get there first. Creme is going to maybe channel the reset a little bit, but now could potentially try to catch out Shun. No ulti available for Creme, so not a ton of lockdown that he has at his disposal, but he does chunk the Kindred down to 400 HP, forcing him very, very low at a crucial point in this game. The handshake will land onto Kanavi, but it's just a little bit of poke issued by Missing as now JDG make their way towards the Grubs.
Shun being 45% HP here is a bit questionable to me. JackeyLove also getting another wave. JDG are giving up a lot of gold on the map to try to make this play happen right now. So they'll get 2 Grubs. Teleport coming in from 369.
369 going to try to join the fray. It's already 2 Grubs picked up here by JDG. They're going to be very happy to just give up the third, knowing they have the advantage, and also have burned that teleport from 369. So the Renekton, without that summoner spell for the next couple of minutes, means that it'll be a little bit easier for JDG to play around the map.
Yeah, majority of the Grubs going over, and now Kanavi even trying to invade, getting more jungle camps here. Just moving in with Crisp. It's going to be Renekton again, facing off against the 2v2, or the bot lane duo of JDG. I like how the lane allocations is kind of shaken out for top esports. They've been better about making sure that they're able to pick up waves, that they're playing and kind of pushing out their side lanes before moving in towards objectives. JDG have tried to play a faster game and making sure that they get gold or they're there first on the play, but you know, in a game that is really predicated on how many small advantages, how many cuts can you take away from your opponents, it's stuff like this that really puts top esports just a little bit ahead of their opponents.
And that should mean they're able to pick up this first dragon as well. Still waiting here on Shun to really come online. He's just one stack in, and you can see these picks are very popular for our junglers. Shout out to Kelsey on the graphics team, or just shout out to our entire production team as well for putting this together. As so far, it has been advantage Kanavi, but there's still a lot of time left in this one.
Number bigger for Kanavi, which means he might just straight up win this one as well. You know?
I mean, just barely.
Yeah, just barely. 3%. Hell, they sell milk with that. We've got now set up here from JDG, pushing on through the mid lane. For right now, I kind of want to see what Missing and Peyz are really going to be able to do, because when you have two grubs, when you have this Azir, I think a big portion of your game plan has to be, how can we get gold onto this Azir, get him set up.
Okay, this could be what JDG were looking for. The Fates Call finds the bottom lane of top esports. Chris flashes away, but it's not enough. The Ren will take him down. And so JD Gaming getting another kill into their star AD carry.
All right, they're going to get a little bit of time alone. This is also going to be JDG now setting up in the top side, giving Scout the freedom and the knowledge of where the enemies are. Also gives Shun the ability to move back into his jungle if he needs to, finish off on some of his camps. So part of that game plan, getting Scout ahead, getting Scout his gold, and making sure that he is going to be a massive teamfight menace as this game goes on.
It's slowly but surely maybe starting to come a little bit together for JDG. I still think Shun needs to be a bigger part of this one if they want to win, though. Look at the level difference. It's about a level and a half. Shun is 2 levels down officially in terms of the number count right now. He should ding 8 off of this camp, but only 1 mark so far compared to Kanavi, who's been able to do just a little bit more in this game.
He's also just 4 camps ahead. Look at the jungle items right now, right? Like, Kanavi's at 7. He's going to have his upgraded smite a lot sooner than Shun. Shun's just now going to be finishing 10. So he needs to kind of up the pace if he wants to be able to keep up with Kanavi. And Kanavi has been, again, those small advantages, being able to take a camp here, steal away a Raptor pit here, steal a mark on the scuttle yet again from Shun. It's these small things, especially for these greedier junglers, that allow you to really kind of maximize those advantages. And you can already see they decided, hey, we're not playing towards the bottom side of the map. I took 2 of my camps top lane. We need to be able to protect Scout. There's going to be potentially another play going over to this Azir, and even now the teleport from Creme.
And so suddenly JDG forcing some pressure on the map and making top esports respond in certain ways. Creme with the soul unbound, and the Chuck missing out just a little bit. Not much to fight for around the top side of the map, though, and so that means that top esports are comfortable with this situation. They're going to be able to have Creme push out this wave. They have more plates going into the hand of 369, as they are still feeling comfortable about where things are at. But much like game number 1, it was a small advantage picked up for top esports early, and it took them a while to really continue to snowball it.
I'm glad that during that fight towards the plate there, might have to hold this as Shun gets a little freaky with the mounting dread. Testing for the blue buff. Goes over to Kanavi.
Nice.
All right. Azir does teleport topside, but you could see that the observers were zooming in onto Allah because they were like, is anybody going to hit the Blood Rose? Is anybody going to hit the Blood Rose? Getting Dominus popped here for 369.
Yeah, Allah still has his R2. The Q3, if that connected, could have been an all-in, all-out for Allah. But 369 will be able to dash away with the slice. Head back to base, has that Black Cleaver as well, so we'll continue to shred Allah in this side lane. And I feel like that's where top esports are going to want to keep that Renekton for a large portion of this game.
Yeah. Ooh, Scout dashes forward. Okay, so kind of trying to test Creme, see where he's at, put out those feelers. I'm glad that 369 also has that JDG emote. I know we were talking about it in game number 1. Maybe 369 typing, being like, hey, you're in my seat, bro. You know, I was there for a little bit. You should pay some respect. But we'll see a little bit more. It's the Herald spawning in 40 seconds here. JDG being able to grab this, I assume they're going to try to use this to, again, get this gold onto this Azir. Now level 11 here for Scout, getting closer to that second item, already completed the Leandries. And with turret plates falling, I think a big portion of their game is making sure that they can kind of hit these item breakpoints at appropriate timers so they can contest top esports.
Oh, Trisp gets hit up by that handshake, and Sean's going to jump over the wall. This is the opportunity that JDG might want right before that Rift Herald spawns. Crisp still getting singled out, and the Feats of Warfare going to be secured by JD Gaming. Kanavi dashes in with the lands, Respite buying so much time. JackeyLove to shift back over into his red buff pit, and won't be able to finish off any single kill. So JD Gaming getting a kill back onto Crisp, and continuing to mount their comeback in this game number 2.
We get to see some of the archetypes of what team fights are going to look like between these two teams. Shun giving the ultimate to his teammates, and then if any of the enemy team get into position, a sweep and a scoop from Scout is going to keep them not able to be revived by the Lamb's Respite. So with that, JDG are going to look to push on over. They're going to instead trade for the Dragon here. All of this is happening. Top Esports going to go for the first turret of the game, grab that for themselves. 369, don't think he's under too much duress here, but, I mean, Shun's coming.
Yeah, he's just trying to build up Fury to try to clear out that minion wave. We'll have to flash out as Ala used the ulti on him to send him backwards. And now Crisp is here, but JDG want to continue this play. Creme could potentially join this fight soon, but he doesn't have that teleport available. I thought it was coming off a cooldown, but it is not, and so it will be JD Gaming getting that Dragon and getting the bot lane tier 1 turret, while Top Esports trade right back with the top lane tier 1, as well as this Rift Herald for Kanavi.
All right, 1 for 1 in turrets, 1 for 1 in objectives, with the Herald going over to Top Esports, the Dragon to JDG. Splitting these up. They're actually going to try to go for more here, sending in the Herald into mid lane. This is going to be another turret, so they end up coming out ahead in the short term for gold. This is going to be very powerful. Top Esports have such a massive spike on 1 and 2 items. Ezreal going to have access to that Muramana very soon. Kanavi wants to get his second item. Same thing here with Creme. JackeyLove even shifting forward here, so maybe see more of an invade as JDG trying to collapse outward from these outer solo lanes.
Oh, so close for Shun, but Kanavi going to pick that one up. Not many major objectives to fight for, but Kanavi still under duress in his own jungle, but he's still able to steal him away. Thanks for the leash, buddy. And now a teleport comes in from Creme, and JDG might be a little bit overextended. Peyz sends Missing back in with that Fate's Call, and Missing will be able to jump right back out of there as they go into the enemy jungle and come up with nothing. That is a tough situation for them. 2
camps going over to Kanavi, maybe even going for more here with Crisp. This is in enemy territory. Yone teleported to the bottom lane wave. Barely isn't able to clip Missing there. Very close. You even see that 369, because they want to continue to play for this bottom lane and more of these camps, and maybe even going for this turret here.
Let's take the tower.
That's going to be the Raptors going over to 369. Another mark denied.
Well, let's see what they can do in Ala in a 3v1 situation. He dashes away. Will be very tanky until he uses that ulti, which he doesn't feel comfortable using just yet. Pathmaker out, and Creme just uses the Fate Seal to escape once Peyz arrives. So Top Esports got what they wanted. They picked up that tier 1 tower. They have now unlocked the map. All tier 1s are down in all 3 lanes. And they continue to add on to their lead and control over Summoner's Rift.
Yet another game where we look at this for 18 minutes and Kanavi has 1,000 gold lead over Shun. It's 20 CS, a massive amount of camps going over to this Nidalee. Hasn't even recalled yet. He's been sitting on Leandri's Sork Pen boots for like 8+ minutes now. Kanavi's going to get a hell of a lot of damage done to him with the Mounting Dread. JDG saying, okay, that's enough. You've taken enough of the base, enough of the map.
We're playing fast and loose in this game. Missing just left out to dry. Chris flashes forward. The shielding is not enough. And 369 picks up the kill after utilizing his teleport. So JDG going for these invades, but just coming back to bite them at the end of the day.
Yeah, we saw this from Top Esports. The way that Top Esports are using their waves and using their champions is, hey, it's cool that we can steal camps, but really we are here to make sure that we can take down structures. And the same thing happened here for JDG, but instead Missing ends up being a little too far forward. It is a turret going over to Azir. Azir has now finished 2 items, so Scout on this champion needs to be able to show up and show out big for this team. Level 12 has 2 items, has the Nashers and Leandries completed. He's going to be a massive component to the team fighting of JDG if they want any chance here in Game 2.
I mean, we are playing on very aggressive means here for JD Gaming. I know the kill score is only 3-3, but these guys are going at it, back and forth.
I mean, you saw the flashes. Shun said, oh, hell no. I'm getting out of here, bro. Good luck missing. I'll see you later, brother. I'll see you back in base. And immediately invests the flash, jumps back over the wall. So, yeah. You say we're moving fast. We're 19.5 minutes or 6 kills.
But
last game was faster.
But just look at all the invades and all the aggressive posturing and over-indexing into different side lanes that each team is playing. It's like the movements are aggressive, but not a lot of blood has been shed. And so both teams just really respecting each other. They're playing more around collecting sideways for themselves, stealing away jungle camps where they can. But I have a feeling all kills are about to stack up soon, as we have this dragon spawning in 30 seconds. A pretty big breaking point for whoever picks it up.
Yeah, no one near any kind of soul point, with especially JDG being able to split that first dragon. So, and right now we are seeing that Creme, he is farming up a storm on a side lane with this Yone, a very big signature marquee champion for this guy in the mid lane. And I mean, we're talking about individual champions that that a lot of these players are known for. I feel like Scout's Azir is particularly infamous. You have, obviously, the pocket picks from the jungle. Right now, Kanavi still winning that battle. A level and a half up in the jungle as this Nidalee, trying to keep that advantage. Feels like if top esports lose, if they give the shutdown, we talked about it earlier, this game could instantly swing and be very snowball reliant for both of these teams.
But so far, top esports are the one with that advantage. They're up 2,500 gold, missing, chunked out really low, and the spear picks up the kill by Kanavi. Creme comes in with a fate seal that lands onto 2, but Peyz still very healthy. A numbers advantage in favor of top esports. They will be able to claim that second Drake.
JackeyLove just arcane shifts forward, puts all that damage into missing, and unfortunately missing now being a large problem for JDG, constantly going down as this Renata. There was Fate's call, maybe not expecting him to immediately get bursted out by that huge spear, and they're going to take Dragon. They're going to start up Otacon immediately here for top esports.
Will JDG respond? Missing's back up, but he's very far away from this Otacon, who's now at 8,000 HP. Scout in the area as well. Shun very far away. There should be no chance at a steal, but maybe top esports could be under threat in terms of fight. Shun goes in! Oh my goodness! He somehow gets into range to steal that Otacon away, and JDG will walk away with a buff scot-free.
A criticism of Shun in these last couple series is that he has been lacking on the smites. When it's come down to clutch moments, he has lacked the ability to hit the smite key better than his opponent. But here in this game number 2, he shows up Kanavi, he gets the smite, he's able to steal that away. A massive steal coming in from JDG. We need to see this again, because I'm looking at this. It doesn't even seem like Shun actually stole it. I don't know if he loses smite.
Was it the wolf?
Oh my god, 8 HP! He didn't even need the smite, so hell, maybe that's still a critique we end up holding for the JDG jungler, but still, being able to steal that away from Kanavi, it's those extra spirit petals, it's also that explosive damage on the kills. Now an extended play onto Allah.
Teleport comes in from 369. Will there be enough of a gap closer? I don't think so, as Shun comes forward. It was either the wolf or it was like the jungle pet that somehow got into range and was able to get a little bit of damage down. Because Shun was not really in auto attack range. That auto was still on the way as the Otacon went down.
I'm going to send out Shun's favorite fan, 1010, go find the VOD. Go find the raffle file.
You're sending people
upload the slow-mo.
Right
yeah,
now.
look, we can't do it. We got a whole game to cast still, okay? These people got a lot more time than we do, at least live.
That's crazy disrespect. You're calling them jobless?
I'm not calling them jobless. Hey, she's a very hard-working woman, okay? She has an IRL job. Sometimes she can't even catch some of the JDG series live. Anyway, that's enough about, we always got to bring her up when we're talking about JDG. But big power spikes coming on through for JDG, especially Shun now having access to that Trinity Force. This Kindred is starting to come online.
Yeah, and it's still Kanavi ahead about a level. Ahead about 40 CS, but Shun, again, starting to get there, hit that critical 4-stack mark, which, of course, is the start of what can be a very powerful late-game Kindred. And it's both Shun and Scout that are really going to have to come to play. We said at the top of the series, but specifically in this game, once we get to the late game, Peyz's damage is not going to be as powerful. He's going to be more of a utility player to try to finish off kills, finish off neutral objectives. It's going to be a lot about this Azir and the Kindred in these late game team fights for JDG.
And really, I think it's going to allow for Missing to play a little bit more far up. I know we've been talking about Missing getting caught, but having access to that Fate's Call. Wow,
as you say the word, Kanavi. Getting dashed on by Kanavi, but a really good usage of that ulti will get him out. Now the Fate's Call comes in. 369 gets knocked up, forced to pop that Dominus. But there's not enough damage onto the Renekton just yet. As the rest of JDG will now begin the retreat. Scout dishing a decent amount of chunk damages on the other side of the map.
Creme and Allah.
Currently Creme out dueling Allah, giving Top Esports control of this bottom side jungle.
Another camp being stolen, being started up. JDG, can they actually hit onto this mid tier 2 though? TES are very weak right now. They have 2 grubs, and with Kalista and Azir, Jesus Christ, that Nidalee Spear just nuked Scout's HP.
Yeah, it was able to allow for JDG to get that tier 1 turret, but not much more after that. Next thing to fight over on the map, that dragon spawning in a minute's time. It would be Top Esports to claim the Infernal Soul Point if it goes their way. JDG want to put a stop to that, even up that count, get a little bit of that extra adaptive force themselves. But Crisp and the rest of Top Esports, that poke composition now starting to come into fruition. The tether's going to land on a Missing. He has to pop Mikhail's Blessing and will dodge away from that next spear as well. They're playing dodgeball right now in their own side of the rift. And
wait, they're going to go for Baron!
The tier 2. Now, teleport has been issued from Creme, and with the health bars chunked so low, Top Esports can and will start this up.
All right, how is Shun going to be able to survive? He's at half right now. There are no jungle camps for him to be able to take. Renekton is playing up. You see that right now. JDG have no idea. They have no vision on this right now. This is a free Baron going over to Top Esports.
It's way too late to teleport.
They are playing fast. They are playing intentional. And hell, they even got the teleport out from Allah. How much more can JDG get? They need to be able to trade up on these objectives.
They need this tier 2, and they need this dragon for this to be even semi-worth it for them to go and be really hurt off of that timer. And that's the power of that poke composition. You chunk out the members of JDG, you go right to a neutral objective.
What a fantastic game. So far, TES are playing like a team possessed here. Clean movements. It feels like they are so locked in as to what they need to be able to accomplish.
Okay, Death
369 walks forward.
It's set up onto the Croc. He's chunked down to 40% HP. Oh, Creme does not hit anybody as Shun flashes away. Here comes the Emperor's Divide. Scout looking to find the kill onto his opposing mid laner, and it will be a shutdown picked up by Allah. Hostile takeover is slowing Kanavi down. He has no flash and he has no life. It's a double kill for the Cassante. And JD Gaming find the fight that they need and will pick up their second dragon of the game.
It took them almost half an hour in game time, but finally we see JDG get a team fight on their terms, and it goes their way. Second dragon of the game going over to JDG, and this Baron now being stalled out for Top Esports. They tries to squeeze a little bit too much. Again, it is so hard for this team to actually walk into Fog of War if JDG are set up. We got to see a lot taken out of there. So many summoner spells now no longer available for Top Esports.
I mean, that might have been the first time that Scout used his Emperor's Divide. That's how kind of reserved he has been. And while JDG have gone for these aggressive posturing, Scout not necessarily a part of it, but he's been quietly scaling, quietly farming, matching what has been a really solid farm performance from Creme as well. And now we're starting to see those items come into play. Now we're starting to see that mid-jungle for JDG come to life. As we get another look at this replay, Top Esports knew they had to run in to try to take this one away, and that was the start that they needed as JDG spot out 369 early.
And I love this turn immediately. Great flash from Peyz to be able to dodge out on the Fate Unsealed, and then, I mean, it's a pretty nice use of the Zonias from Kanavi, but them being able to miss out on that last play as well, didn't have access to the summoner spells. So JDG punish Top Esports. Top Esports have been playing fast here in this game. They made a single pick onto Missing. They chunked him out. Then they moved into the Baron immediately. They made a single pick around the mid lane, and then they rushed for the Dragon and the Otacon at the same time. So maybe some of that's starting to catch up to Top Esports. This game has been incredibly close. 2,000 gold is just barely the lead here for TES. But you look now, 3 items for Azir, 3-item Kalista as well. I think you are very happy with the state of the game.
Allah getting threatened here as Top Esports, remember, they still have that Baron buff. It's only for one more wave, and they're not really going to be able to get much off of it. They tried to find a pick onto the Cassante, but he's now strong as well. 3 items in his own right as Peyz just picks up the Terminus in addition. Now we see a bit of a duel in that bottom side. 369 has that Steric Shield popped. Scout dishing out a ton of DPS, and will force the Renekton back and will allow for JDG to get some more time to continue to scale up.
Yeah, dude, this Azir it might just be untouchable now. With Zhonya's, I mean, with Flash coming up in like 2 or 3 minutes, Scout might unironically just carry this game. Tough game. I mean, JackeyLove's on a huge spike. He finishes Spear of Shojin. He has to get closer to a Sorelda's if he really wants to be able to punch through Allah later in this game. And yeah, he'll have some armor penetration coming in from 369, but this K'Sante is going to become very, very problematic here in this game. We got 2 minutes before a Baron spawns, 2 minutes before a Dragon even spawns, and right now it feels like JDG are slowly starting to surge back in despite the lead from Kanavi. Level 16 on this Nidalee. We need to see a lot more from Top Esports if they want to close out this series.
You still look at the items, you still feel good about where JackeyLove is, where Creme has been so far. But now you remember, there's a Renekton Nidalee on that top side, maybe not as powerful later on in the game. We have this perma-scaling Kindred, this Azir that's going to get continuously stronger. So the Goldie's going to be less and less, especially if JDG keep things close here, especially in that objective count. Remember, they were able to pick up that second Dragon despite Top Esports getting the Baron the last time around because of their unique fight situation that they were able to create for themselves.
And now we're looking at the map. JDG have just been able to really... We talked about earlier in the game that Top Esports, they spent a lot of their kind of early game set making, playmaking, just trying to take down structures, get gold, ramp themselves up into a good part of the game where they can kind of coast on a natural gold lead that they got for themselves through the structures. But by taking all of them, you've kind of made the map really long for you, so you have to go very deep into enemy territory. And while they still have some of these outers, JDG have just been farming. They've been picking up gold. I think that Scout in particular has been doing a great job. We're looking at Peyz as well, almost 330 CS. I know that JackeyLove is doing a fantastic job for himself, but making sure that they're farmed up and being able to really attack TES. We haven't seen a big development outside of some of these team fights, and maybe TES kind of pushed themselves a little too far here in this game.
Yeah, because now the question is, once we get to those 5v5s, I mean, we haven't really seen one in a while that has worked out for Top Esports. Their top side so used to skirmishing. That's what they want to be able to accomplish. And now a collapse could be imminent onto Creme, who's very out of position right now in this bottom lane. Shun trying to cut him off. The True Shot Barrage will come out of the Fate Sealed, plus the Flash will save Creme's life, but those are two crucial cooldowns that are now down for this Dragon that is spawning in 25 seconds.
Ooh, teleport. They're going to make a long play onto 369, and that could prevent JDG from having this Baron taken by Top Esports.
Dominus Pop, 369 has a lot of work to do, but he finds a lot of damage on to Scout immediately. Scarrick Shield going to save his life for now. He flashes over, he Blast Cones out. And that means that 369 is out scot-free, and the rest of Top Esports are corralling around him. Instead of going for that Dragon, they're looking for a lead on the play and potentially a pull of the Baron.
I mean, Scout still has teleport. They're going to be able to go back into this play, and JDG right now are having access into mid. They're getting pulled around the map right now, trying to find this pick onto Allah.
Now he's the one singled out. The Uno reverse card right back in onto the K'Sante. JackeyLove with a Mystic Shot picks up the kill, and it's a numbers advantage for Top Esports for the next 50 seconds. 4v5 on the map. Top Esports going to start up this Baron, and there's not much that JDG can do about it.
JDG, they're going to go to the Dragon. They're going to put themselves on soul point with this. Another Infernal Dragon coming on through. 369 invests the teleport. This game only gets tighter and tighter between the two teams here. JDG sitting in fourth. Top Esports are #1 team here in the LPL. And it just feels like it is a game of inches here between these two. A small win here, getting the summoner spells out from the enemy top laner, finding Allah on this K'Sante. How much more can Top Esports get? This is the second Baron that they've now gotten here in this game. And they're finally going to be able to break open another Tier 2.
And we talked about it at the top of the show, but JDG have the most matches left to play here in the league. They got a gauntlet ahead of them. They don't want to start things off with a 2-0 loss to Top Esports, a team they already lost to in the first round robin. They have the most to gain, the most to lose, as Shun going for broke, potentially jumping over the wall to land some damage onto Kanavi, but he's able to escape right back on out. And the question becomes, what can Top Esports do to extend their gold lead off of this Baron power play?
Shun has 7 marks of the Kindred right now. He also is going for a Black Cleaver, so he's going to have so much damn movement speed here in this game between the Trinity Force and the Black Cleaver Phage procs. Shun has a big weight on his shoulders. I know we were talking about the bottom lane having to kind of be a bridge, but I mean, honestly, Peyz and Missing didn't do all that much. They're going to be the finishers in these fights. Shun and Scout, the new dynamic duo for JDG, two members that are new to the roster and having to kind of prove themselves here on another team. They've had some inconsistencies. Shun definitely, I think, stepping up when his team has needed him most. I think on games like the Nefiri, like we got from him earlier. We need to see that level of performance again here in game number 2. Well, I mean, there's still a Baron here for top esports, and I think we're looking 3 minutes ahead towards that soul.
And shout out to JDG. They've been able to hold the line. Despite the fact that top esports are up 5K, it doesn't feel like it right now because there's not much that top can do with their Baron buff, right? They haven't been able to crack open a tier 3, and now Crisp is forced to flash away as Jean is posturing very aggressively. He's chunked down to FHP, but still has a Lamb's Respite and his flash, so will be able to get out with his life. There's nothing much to fight for, so JDG can be very comfortable with just forcing that Summoner spell and backing on right back.
Oh my god, that is such a huge win there, though. I mean, just pushing Shun out of the bottom lane. Out of this bottom side jungle. They're going to try to push in mid. Honestly, TS, I think you need to take control of the mid waves. I know that you've been trying to play really fast on at least one side of the map. 369.
We send the Renekton right over the wall. The hostile takeover going to slow him down as well. Eclipse onto Crisp. Here's the Emperor's Divide.
Oh my god!
Shield is big from Creme. Lands on a 4. Lands Respite buying a lot of time. Who's going to come out on top in this one? Guardian Angel already popped from Peyz. JackeyLove,
oh my god, Jackie!
JackeyLove's trying to pop off once again. And in the moment that matters most, it is the star franchise AD carry for top esports to win themselves the fight. Only all is alive. They have a wave in mid lane, and top esports going to try to close out this series 2-0.
They got another mid wave coming on through. JackeyLove finally comes alive with this Ezreal. They've got Baron now. It's gone. There's no Baron buff available. All needs to make a lifetime save. He's going for the minion wave.
He's not going to be able to find it. Those minions going to be all nice and healthy. The ace is picked up for Kanavi as he sweeps his former team in the LPL Split 2 regular season. It's JackeyLove on the Ezreal to win them at the end as top esports go to 12-2 with a dominant sweep over JD Gaming.
Yet again, another 2-0 here coming in for top esports. I think a much-needed win, and I think a confidence booster considering the series we just got from them against Ninjas in Pajamas a few days ago. Top esports, man. We need more games like that, man. Like, just playing really fast around the map, playing incredibly dominant. I love how aggressive we kind of saw. There were hiccups, but it's that style of gameplay that led to them winning LPL in Split 1 to now being number 1 here in the league, 12-2.
And it was a difficult composition to play out. It was a Nidalee for Kanavi. He ended up doing very well on it, getting himself out to early advantages and never really letting go of that. But then at the end, it was once again JackeyLove that came to the rescue. This guy didn't do too much in game number 1. He was on Varus duty, he was on poke duty. This time, he absolutely delivered on one of his signature picks.
And with that win, top esports have locked a top 4 finish here in LPL Split 2. I think a long time coming. There were a lot of question marks as to whether or not that was going to be the case, but with the fact that they only have 5 series left, 3 series left. So yeah, they play 4
series left.
They play 4 series after this. Or yeah, sorry, they play 3 series. Yeah, wait. I'm blind.
So
4.
top